Hello, people of the internet. This is Ian Altazar, the Freedom Astrologer here, and I'm going to share with you some astrological knowledge that will hopefully help you on your quest or path on this earthly plane we're currently on. So, Pluto square Saturn. I chose this specific aspect to dissect because this is a difficult aspect, of course, like squares are in astrology, and it's important because it holds, or within that aspect, there is a lot of potential for the human being to evolve and grow and to come into their power. So I'm mainly talking about this aspect natally, and mostly focusing on separating aspect. But it can also be, the things I'm going to say can also be applied to just an applying aspect, and when you have a transit, Pluto square Sun or Sun square Pluto. The difference between transit is, by transit, this is usually just a couple of days, maybe a week, you can feel the influence of it, and depending on sorry, I just lost my track of thought. Anyway, mostly natal can be applied to transit as well. So first we need to understand what is the Sun, and then second of all Pluto. What do these celestial bodies represent in our lives and in material reality? And then we're going to put them together, and you're going to see why is this so important. So the Sun, first of all, the Sun, very important in modern astrology, in Western astrology, and obviously it is the Sun, and it's the center of this solar system, and it represents our free will, creative intelligence, life force, but in this case it also represents our father, and it represents father figures, and it represents male authority figures in our lives. In modern times, the roles of the father and mother are a bit they're not so exact. Let's put it like that. Meaning, your father could have played the mother role, your mother could have played both roles, or your father could have played both roles. Most likely mother could have played both roles, meaning she had to be the provider, she had to be the nurturer, she had to be the man and the woman, or the mother and the father in your case. The Sun is also the I am. Now, what does the I am mean? This means who we are and what we identify ourselves as. And it also represents what we desire to create material in this world, and where do we want to put our creator energy. The Sun is very, very, very creative in energy, very creative intelligence, I would say. Now, obviously it is a lot more than this, but in order for me to talk a bit about the Sun square Pluto aspect, I'm going to keep it at that, and let's continue with Pluto. Pluto is transformation, power, deep things, esoteric occult things, our subconscious, very important. Deep power. Death also. Power over others. I would say power over others is a bit of a negative manifestation of this energy. It's control, it's sex, it's deeper sex, it's tantra, I would put under Pluto. Yes. Now, when we understand what these things or these planets represent in our Earth chart, we can move onwards and start understanding this harder aspect. So, square aspect is very often some type of wound that has been, given to us in a way, which means that somewhere along the lines you were hurt, something happened, pain happened, and now being an adult, you kind of have to, or you are forced to deal with it. It's in your face, so to speak, and it's up to you. It's always up to you if you want to make it work, you want to make it better, you want to heal from it. But what I've experienced with the square is always, it's kind of always in the face, regardless. When it's natally there, obviously you're going to have, breaks. Life moves in cycles. It moves up and down. So it isn't always 24/7 in your face, but there are periods in your life when it's more in your face, and you're going to be forced into dealing with it. So. And with the square, it's always, or hard to say always, but very often the case that we need to take some physical action to heal from it. And it can make life inconvenient for us as well. Now, in this case, we are talking about very important things. Our creator energy, father figures, our personal deep power. So this is very important to understand with the Sun and square Pluto, that somewhere along the lines your deep, or let's say the wounding that occurred was most likely to do with your masculine energy, father energy, or the father figure energy. Could have been that the father was the actual wounder, or the father figure. Maybe in your case the mother, maybe the grandfather. Maybe somewhere, maybe your mother had a new, boyfriend, husband, and they became the male authority figure in your life, and they were the one who wounded you. And in this case, it could have been, most likely was to do with your personal power. So they could have said something along the lines of, you can't do anything in life, or why are you doing like this, or maybe even your father was taken from you, or I think here it's better to say taken. Meaning it can mean a lot of things. Obviously, it can mean the death of the father. It can mean, them living in another country. maybe in jail. You know, there are a lot of physical manifestations of this energy and how it can play out. But one of the reasons why this is important to understand is if you don't really have a solid role model father figure who gives you your self-confidence, which is also the sun, who shows you the ropes, who kind of inserts this creative power, creative energy into you. If that is missing in your life, and obviously your mother, if she is alone, she will do the best she can, but it's very hard for a woman to instill that in a child, because it's not as natural of an energy for a woman to, I would say, channel through than it is for a man, usually. Now, and when that's missing, or let's say when maybe the father figure can also be, you know, abusive, can be having trouble with their own power and channeling their own creative energy into the world, maybe they feel this is one of the ways as well, they can feel powerless inside to, you know, maybe other authority figures, maybe other authority figures, your grandfather, their father, or your great grandfather, their grandfather, you know, abused their power with them, and now their power is kind of messed up, and it's not channeling healthily into you when you are a child. So this will leave a hole in you, unfortunately, meaning you won't believe in your own power, in your own creative ability. In life, you will find it harder to create in the material world, and there's this deeper, and very often this can be at first subconscious when you haven't already discovered this aspect in your natal chart. Maybe it can you know, be so subconscious, and you're sitting there and wondering, like, why am I getting these bosses in my life? They're trying to they're controlling me all the time, and these powerful male figures in my life that they're kind of not, let's say, they're not healthily guiding you, rather they are suffocating your power, suffocating your life force, suffocating your creative energy. So in this case, it can, in the real life, it can show up as a boss who won't allow you to do certain kind of things, and maybe, you know, plays power games with you, manipulates you a little bit, maybe even a lot, and you're kind of sitting there like, why is this constantly happening to me? Now, this is very often and most likely to do with this aspect, or in this case also something that happened in your childhood. I just want to mention, you know, it can even lead to a huge feeling of powerlessness. Ideas in your mind, you know, I can't do this, who am I to do these things, you know, I don't have the power to do these things, or even it can even manifest as, you know, secretly wanting to take power away from others. You know, maybe you see like a government authority figure, and you see them having too much power, and, you know, instead of working with them working to understand them. You are in a place of wanting to get that power for yourself. And a lot of the reason there is because you feel such powerless to their power. Now, one of the things Pluto is also, deep things, and one of the main things, the positive manifestation of Pluto is transformation. Transformation is the key word here. Because within this aspect, there is an opportunity for you to start finding your own power, start defining your own power, start defining healthy power within you. And most often, if not always, I would even go as far as saying always, it really starts with the relationship of your father. And to even put it a little further, the relationship you have with men, masculine figures in your life. And you need to start looking at the current relationships you're having with men and people, let's say bosses or authority figures, people who are more advanced and in a place of more power in our society than you were. Maybe teachers, mentor figures, teachers, professors at universities. And start looking at clues of start observing that relationship. Start observing how you feel in that relationship. That this is key. Do you often feel powerless? Do you feel, I think this is even more of a key, do you often feel shut down by them? I would say if you feel shut down by them, this is a very, very big indicator of you have this aspect in your natal chart, and you need to start looking at this, at these relationships. And once you understood this, then you need to basically go back and start unraveling, because Pluto is your subconscious, so you might have buried these things very deep into your subconsciousness. This is where, therapy and spiritual work, meditation, occult sciences like astrology and numerology and stuff like that can help you to uncover what actually happened with your father, and then start healing that relationship. And I will give you a bit of a piece of guidance to make it a little easier, is to be grateful, because there's going to be anger rising from within you because you feel so powerless. The place of gratitude comes in when you understand that they were there for a reason. They were taking away your power so you can reclaim it, and you can truly see from a healthy place what true power, true deep power really means. And this quest of them taking your power and you reclaiming it, and all of this will show you how much power you actually have. I mean, just think of it this way. I mean, losing your complete self-confidence and belief in yourself to start creating something in the world, and then starting to slowly reclaiming it and reclaiming it. you will start to discover how powerful you really are, and you'll start to see their role in your story. That's basically it. So just to recap, a lot of it's to do with taking away your power, feeling powerless in the world to create things, having belief in yourself to be able to create those things. And the key to solving that is looking at the relationship with your father and seeing those moments when maybe he came in, maybe it was your mother, maybe it was another authority figure, maybe they came in and shut you down when you were doing your best to create in the world. You were playing something, you were doing something, you were very creative, you were a child, but you didn't actually know exactly, where the nuts and bolts and the things went. And then your father came in and is like, no, this isn't how you do the thing, you just need to stop, and blah, blah, blah. So for a very young child, this means that they did something wrong. But actually, if you look at that situation from a deeper perspective, they actually didn't do anything wrong. They were just creative. They were just doing the best they had, doing the best with their abilities at that moment, and then they were figuring it out, and probably in the end would have come to that conclusion as well. So I hope this video makes sense to you. I hope it helps you in some way. And if you want to know how to see if you have this aspect in your natal chart, just go to astro.com, which is, I think, the best free. Yeah, I think it's the best free thing that's out there, and just enter your birth details, birth time, very important, and see if you have Pluto square Sun. I think also cafeastrology.com will give you a short description of it, and they will immediately show that you have Pluto square Saturn if you're not experienced in reading charts. And if you want a personal guiding session with me to look at your aspects, to look at your life mission, to look at we can look at a lot of things, then just click the link below. If you enjoyed it, like the video, hit subscribe, no deal. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.